Hey everyone, really excited for episode number 5. We have some bad news today. Fabio did his hair, so we don't have anything to laugh at in the beginning.
Yeah,
He let Gina cut the sides, and then I guess your hair is still really long,
it's
right?
pretty good. I have like a little I don't know what you would call it, like bumper side right here on the
I have
left.
that too. It's called the amateur haircut crown because I have that as well, which is why I have a hat on. I noticed it. I was doing my hair the other day. It's like super long right here, and like it's
Yeah,
short on
mine
top.
to get
So
rid of.
is that why Carl hasn't gotten a haircut yet?
Yeah.
So we're going to go into our first topic where we start off with food. And I'll start this one off this time instead of making Carl always start. I'm going to talk about Barley Mash. Barley Mash finally opened for takeout. If you don't know where they're at, they're on the corner of 5th and Market. And it's probably one of the busiest bar/restaurants in downtown San Diego. They just opened for takeout, and Astrid and I went. We got a flatbread, and we got the jalapeno popper. So good. And the Astrid got a salad, and then we also got Brussels sprouts from Smoking Gun because Barley Mash wasn't selling beer yet. So we got a 32-ounce growler at Smoking Gun for $10. So, but shout out to them. Always one of the downtown favorites, and go support them. Carl, who's on your list?
Mine's actually fish. So Hayworth Fish on North Harbor Drive. If you follow them on Instagram, it'll tell you when their boat's coming in, and you can go and buy ahi for $10 a pound. It's such a good deal. So I think that they normally sell to restaurants and stuff, but now that the demand's not there for the restaurants, they're selling it to everyone. So cool. So,
Wait,
Awesome.
so you have to buy it and then take it home and cook it?
yeah.
All right, that's not
Yeah, I
fun.
mean, you can make a pokey or something with that.
I'm gonna come over to your house so you can cook it for us because I'm pretty sure you can. You do
All
something.
right. I got you.
I'm not too much of a cook, which through this quarantine, it's kind of been of a struggle with some of the places that have been closed and everything just being kind of.
We've actually seen some of your lunches at the office, so we can attest to that.
Hey, we try our best. But, well, yeah, it's not our forte, that's for sure. But wanted to I don't have a restaurant, but I wanted to talk about the fact that just yesterday they were announcing that restaurants can now begin to open for dine-in. So I think that's pretty exciting. Obviously, there's regulations that need to be followed, and people still need to be careful just to make sure that everybody's being taken care of. But we're making progress, and I think that's a good thing. And I know different areas around the United States, and even here in San Diego, there's been talks of how to get creative to be able to allow people to enjoy the experience of sitting down and having a nice meal at a restaurant. I think what Ryan just pulled it up, but this is going to be the closest one to us. And the one that I'm probably the most excited about is it's Little Italy. They're proposing closing India and parts of Kedner Boulevard on Saturday nights to allow for alfresco dining. So the restaurants would be hosting indoors and outdoors, expanding their sitting area outside and closing everything through just pedestrians, no cars allowed. I think it's a great idea. Obviously, it hasn't passed, but I think it'll be a cool vibe down there in Little Italy.
I think it'd be pretty awesome. I mean, I've been to like some European countries that have alfresco dining, and it's just a different atmosphere, different vibe. One of my favorite places is Barcelona, and it's huge there. They have a bunch of streets that are just like they have restaurants in the center of the street, essentially in the divider, or they're just closed off to cars and they have dining there. And I feel like for Little Italy, it'd be a huge step in the right direction to maybe even keep this going after the stay-at-home orders are released. A lot of the restaurants in Little Italy are smaller, so it's a lot harder to take the precautions necessary. So unlike some of the larger restaurants downtown, it's a little bit easier, and they have obviously more capacity. Little Italy is a lot more confined on space.
Right.
And Gaslam was already talking about doing this anyways. So, coronavirus could just potentially expedite the process of them closing that off.
Yeah. So Fifth Avenue, if you're not familiar with that, Gaslamp was going to close off Fifth Avenue to cars, and they're trying to make it a pedestrian only area, and then you'd have dining and stuff on the street essentially, and a lot of like walking paths and parks and stuff like that. So I'm gonna bring up an article from Carl's, I guess you can call it his home state. He was born in California, but Maryland, a bar in Maryland. I saw this everywhere on social media, and this is pretty awesome. Carl, let you talk about this one because you're familiar with the place, right?
I think I've been there once or twice. My sister used to go there a few times, but yeah, I mean that would be hilarious. It's just like a huge beach bar, but it can hold a ton of people too. So I mean, it's an idea, a funny idea.
Yeah, people are creative. Like they have a business to run, they have a family to feed, they have employees to support. Like I can appreciate a business owner going out of thinking outside the box to try to keep everybody safe, which is important, while also still trying to do business.
And with an idea that will draw people to it, because he's not going to want to go there now. I mean, you have a portable table, basically a bumper car as a portable table.
I'd like to see what happens when people have one too many drinks on those.
Yeah, I mean, that might be an issue.
But, I guess fun, Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everyone in Maryland's very responsible. I feel like. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So Germany, there's a cafe in Germany, and they taped pool noodles to hats to keep social distancing at large. So you have two pool noodles on your head, and apparently, if you're close enough to touch pool noodles, then it's too close. I mean, I don't know if the concept would work. I guess it's kind of funny.
It'd be pretty heavy on your head.
Yeah, I know, right? And then the hats, I mean, I'm assuming they're providing the hats. So how are they sanitizing those hats? Although, according to that new CDC article, the new guidelines say that it's unlikely to get COVID-19 from touching stuff. It's mainly transferred by droplets in like when people are talking or if they sneeze or cough. Apparently, it's unlikely to get it from contact physically by touching something. So that's kind of interesting. It kind of goes against what we've been doing with hand sanitizer and all that.
Right.
They do say it's still a good thing to wash your hands, obviously, very often.
Regardless, like we should be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think them changing that, it's a good thing because it'll give people some peace of mind, and hopefully we'll get them out there to support those businesses that are struggling. And
but then that just shows how masks are so important now too.
Yeah.
So the next thing we want to talk about is an article that Fabio sent us on Forbes, and it is from a contributor, so it's not from an actual Forbes writer, it's from a contributor. But they're talking about the housing bubble 2.0 and how it's about to burst. And there are some good points in here. I won't attack everything that they're talking about, but there are some good points in here. But he's basically
a different perspective.
He's basically arguing that the Fed propped up the market, and so here was the increase in early 2000s, and then the crash in 2008, and then where we're at now. And they're basically saying that the Fed inflated the housing bubble again. But one thing that he talks about a lot in here is Airbnb. He talks about how, what was that?
That's his main point in the whole article.
Yeah. He talks a lot about Airbnb and how that's going to be basically the catalyst for the next housing bubble. And I disagree with that completely. I mean, Fabio, you sent me the article. What are your thoughts on it?
Like reading it, the guy has a pretty good opening to the article, and you're including the link so people can read it too, right? Like,
Yeah, I'll include the links.
so he goes on and kind of explains how the first bubble happened in 2008 and how he saw similar trends coming into his bubble 2.0, which he has some facts there, but I think when he lost me was when he was talking about the Airbnb market completely crashing, all those homes going on the market, and therefore creating the whole real estate market to crash. I can't speak to other areas, but in San Diego, for example, where we live, those homes that are being used for Airbnb are in very desirable areas. If those owners decided to sell, I can guarantee you somebody would buy them. I don't foresee Airbnb creating an overflow of homes in San Diego, where we right now have an extreme shortage in most areas in certain price points. So that's where he kind of lost me. Just his whole argument of the market crashing was based on Airbnb crashing.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things to keep in mind. One is, like you said, the location of Airbnbs. For Airbnb to work, you have to buy something that's in a desirable location. And if it's a desirable location for people to stay on vacation, it's also going to be a desirable location for people to buy. And so that's the first issue with it. Will some people be forced to sell because maybe their Airbnb situation is not working for them right now and they can't afford to continue with the property? They might, but to say that it's going to cause the next housing bubble, I think, is a stretch. Will there be some distressed sellers? Probably. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that that's likely to happen. There will be some people that need to sell. Chances are when they purchase, though, as an investment property, if they did it correctly, they're putting 20 to 25% down. So they should have some equity, unless the market dropped like 50%. But I don't see that. This isn't 2008. So it's hard for me to buy. I think it's a long shot. Now, I think there will be some deals out there in areas where there's Airbnbs.
100%. And the other thing too is considering again where we're at. We're in San Diego. We have good weather. We have beautiful beaches. Like people from Nevada, people from Arizona, people from across the border, they don't need to fly to get here. They can drive. So a lot of people are talking about, oh yeah, Airbnb is going to suffer because people don't want to travel as much, but that's because they don't want to fly. I think if they can hop in a car and go into an Airbnb in San Diego in the middle of summer or even winter, where it's really hot in the desert or really cold in the desert, I think those areas are still going to be okay.
I agree. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people lately going to Palm Desert or Palm Springs, and just to enjoy the weather and enjoy. I mean, it's getting hotter there now, so there's probably going to be less people going. But they want a pool. They want to be able to change, have a change of scenery, and I think that's going to be more and more common. And the truth is, San Diego is desirable for areas around it. I mean, it's one of the top destinations for people for LA trips or LA weekend trips. A lot of people come down to San Diego. Orange County, same thing. They come down to San Diego. Arizona, Palm Desert, Palm Springs. A lot of places come to San Diego as a destination. And I think that's going to become more and more common. Mm-hmm. People took a hit in the beginning with Airbnb. It was probably really hard to get people to stay. But I don't think it's, he's making a pretty drastic argument, I think. So,
yeah.
All right. And the last thing we're going to go into is our favorite picks of the week. I'm going to share my screen again. And Carl, you are up first.
All right. So mine is in one of those desirable areas, Bay Ho. I think it's a great area. So 3320 La Juntas. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, close to 1,900 square feet. I love the curb appeal on it. I think it's really cool. The kitchen's open, living room, I mean, everything looks like it's been redone too. I mean, I would love to cook out of that kitchen.
Is that how you rate houses? Is
Pretty
if it
much.
meets your cooking standards?
Yeah, cooking standards, and I do like somewhat of a backyard too.
And this one has a pretty big backyard.
Yeah.
I like this office area.
The rooms are big too. Yeah,
Yeah, it looks nice.
big shower.
And it does have a good sized yard.
Yeah, the backyard's huge. I mean, if you wanted to put a pool, I'm sure you could get one in there. I would definitely build a outdoor kitchen. But cool.
All right. Fabio, you are up.
So this week I actually picked the house that I recently toured. This house, well, this townhome is in the Bankers Hill neighborhood of San Diego, and I think it's a pretty unique setup, given that you get a little bit of both worlds. You get a little bit of the suburban feel. Yeah, you're pretty close to the city where you can experience city living. Sorry. And then this is new construction. It was done in 2019. This owner hasn't owned it for too long, but he has really good taste and did some upgrades that kind of put everything together. My favorite part is that private patio, rooftop deck, sorry. The private rooftop deck on the top, he has a nice fire pit installed outside. And you actually have southwest views into downtown San Diego, and you have water views as well. The biggest thing about this, though, is you do have to be a fan of planes because you're pretty close to the flight path. When we went, it wasn't too bad, obviously, because the amount of flights drastically down. But once things started getting back to normal, you're going to see more flight traffic. And, you do hear that when you're off on the rooftop deck. I didn't mind it just because I like the city and the noise. I'm used to it, but I can see it being an issue to some people.
That shower is crazy.
The shower's nice. Those medicine cabinets, the master bathroom feels like a hotel bathroom, to be honest. It's not staged. Actually, somebody lives there. And it's a really nice home. It's 3 stories, pretty spacious. You do have one full bedroom, bathroom downstairs. And then you have the living space in the middle. And then you have a bedroom, and you have a bedroom and an office on the 3rd floor. And
it has an elevator
too, correct. Yeah. It comes with an elevator too.
That rooftop patio is crazy.
It's big.
Yeah, I mean, I like the style. It's super mid-century modern, and then that rooftop, I feel like just ties it all together.
So there's 4 of those there, and this is the furthest east one, so you don't have a neighbor immediately to your right.
Nice.
All right, mine is in the Legend, and maybe I miss going to sporting events, but this is on the southeast corner of the Legend. Usually, I'm not the biggest fan of this floor plan, but this is unique because you look directly into the stadium. You can actually see home plate. So if they do bring back, Padres games, and they bring back the baseball season, you will have your own box seats. And I just think that the views from here are incredible. A lot of people pull out this fireplace to open up the space because it does take up a lot of room. It's just an electric fireplace. It could be removed. A lot of people do it, and it really opens up the space. But we're also going to get views like that into a stadium.
Yeah.
And you do have really nice water views as well. So I think that this is one of the better buys in downtown right now. Given the views, it's priced at $850, and it was in contract, and it actually it looks like it's falling out of escrow. So the building has full service amenities. So it has a pool, it has a spa, fitness facility, concierge. A lot of outdoor spaces, but it also has the 7th floor deck that looks directly into the ballpark as well. So you have 2 spaces to watch the game from. You have your private space or the 7th floor deck. I'm not sure if that's closed right now. It might be closed, but I believe that in phase 3 of reopening, that's when community amenities can open back up. I know that San Diego is trying to push to opening that up before phase 3. I saw, or Fabio, you sent a letter from
25% capacity.
yeah, so 25% capacity. I guess Mayor Faulkner sent a letter to Newsom. So, but we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, the view and the location I think are really good.
One thing
I'm gonna.
Mine too was there's no HOA on that one. Did I mention
Oh,
that?
on
Yeah, I think I said
582 West Laurel.
Yeah, 582 West Laurel has no HOA.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually just drove by it the other day. It looks really cool.
Yeah, they're appealing.
So I'll include the links either in the YouTube video or the blog, if wherever you're watching this, and you'll be able to see those properties if you want to take a look at them. And yeah, do you guys have anything that you want to add before closing out?
I don't think so. That was good.
No.
All right.
I mean, again,
Sounds-
if anybody has any questions or anything they would like us to kind of discuss, just email it to either one of us. Or
Yeah. If anyone has any questions or topics you want us to cover, reach out to us, and we'd be happy to include that in our videos. All right. Catch you on episode 6.